Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video I am going to be covering all of the AoE debuff cleansers in Raid Shadow Legends. It's a very important mechanic to understand and very important to know which champions do it in your roster, because it is a very important mechanic for you to have at your disposal in the arena and dungeons and all sorts of different situations. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, in terms of AoE cleansing, I'm talking about when there's debuffs placed on your team. These are the champions that are going to wipe them all away and get you back to a clean slate. Now, this is extremely impactful in the arena, especially in a team that is not going to be high speed, a team that's maybe going to absorb what the other team does and go second. Very important to have a cleanser on your roster, but it's also very good in certain dungeons like the Minotaur, where you get the hexes placed on you and then the Minotaur slams you down. You need to cleanse those off. The Void Keep, where the boss is placing a bunch of poisons. You need to cleanse those poisons off. It is a very important ability to have at your disposal, and these champions are typically very strong and very well built in the immunity set. The immunity set drops in the Fire Knight Castle, and it's going to set debuff immunity for 2 turns, giving these champions an ability to not get locked out, like provoked, frozen, something like that, and then they can go ahead and cleanse the other champions that aren't in an immunity set so that they can go ahead and go forward with their abilities. And that immunity set is going to be really good in the arena especially. Now I will show you exactly what I am talking about by showing you an arena match. So this is an example of a very CC heavy team up in gold 4 of the arena. And what's going to happen is you can see they have an Arbiter, which is a very high speed aura, speed boosting champion. And then they have lots of CC with Tormund and Harvest Jack. So they are going to go first before my defensive team. But what I can do is use the immunity set plus AoE debuff cleansing. That will let me wipe away what they did as long as I've got the survivability to stand up to their effects, which I will have with Sir Nick providing a lot of HP in terms of his aura, and then Mountain King built in a shield set to sustain exactly what they do to me. And you'll kind of see how this works. The other team will go first. They'll do a bunch of stuff to me, and then my immunity cleanser, which in this case is Hawkhorn Smashlord, will go ahead, wipe the slate clean, and then when it's my turn, I can go ahead and take advantage of the battlefield. So let's hit start, and you will see what I'm talking about. There we go, the Arbiter boosts. Now we get the CC coming in from Jack, and you can see here that the Jack was successful in really devastating my team. There is both fear and speed debuffs on all of the champions besides my Hawkhorn because he's in an immunity set. But now look what happens. Boom, he wipes it clean, and now it is my turn to go ahead and unleash Fury on the other team. And now I have the advantage because I absorbed what they did, and then I used an immunity cleanser to go ahead and wipe the slate clean so that I can go forward from that initial surge with an advantage. And now with a sustained team like this, with the cleansing that took place, I'm able to kind of slowly squeeze them and burn them down to go ahead and take the victory in the arena. And that is kind of a live example of how it would function in an arena match. So now let's actually go over all of the champions that have this capability. And I'm going to start at kind of the lower, more introductory, lower tier champions that do it. And I'm going to work my way up to the best champions in the game, in my opinion, that have this AoE cleansing ability. So first, we will go ahead and dive into Lizardmen and go over the rare Gator. Now you will see here that Gator has this A3 that removes all debuffs from all allies. Pretty simple and straightforward. He just goes ahead and cleanses everything. He's also got attack boosting and an A1 that places heal reductions. So pretty straightforward in terms of being a rare that has AoE debuff cleansing. And another rare that does this is from the Knight Revenant, and that is Acolyte. We've also got a pretty easy to understand, just standard remove all debuffs from all allies on the A3 here. And there are a couple champions that do this who drop in campaign stages that you can farm up for free. As long as you put in the energy to farming up those stages, you can get yourself both an Heiress, who has the ability here to remove 1 random debuff from all allies. Now you do have to be careful when it is remove 1 random debuff. It is a very strong ability, but it's not going to wipe the slate clean like you saw in my arena match example when they had both a decreased speed and a fear debuff, you got to be careful by one random removed, because it's not going to wipe the slate perfectly clean. It's going to either remove that speed or that fear. So an ability like this is not quite as strong, but it is still technically an AoE cleanse. And then we've also got Spirit Host, who is a dark elf that drops in the campaign. Right here is Spirit Host, and she's got a remove all debuffs from all allies, and then also places a block debuffs on all allies for 1 turn. So that is very strong. When we can both strip the buffs that were placed on us and then place a block debuffs, and both of them are AoE, that is a very good ability for a rare that you can farm in the campaign. Reliquary Tender, a rare from the High Elves, also has an AoE cleanse, and then it will also place continuous heal. And a cool thing about Reliquary Tender is she also has a revive. And Doom Priest, an epic from the Night Revenant, similar to Eris, has an ability where every turn she is going to remove a random debuff from them at the start of her turn. So remember, it's not as strong as wiping the slate clean, but it is still an AoE cleanse. And Battle Sage, an epic from the High Elves, has a cool ability because it is an AoE cleanse that can also help you in terms of nuking the enemy team. So if you're going to go second, Battle Sage wipes everything clean and then does a 50% increase attack buff to make your attack champions hit that much harder. So you can kind of absorb everything and then go second and nuke them down super hard. But it can be a little bit tougher to keep attack champions alive in a context where you're going to be going second. So definitely be careful about that. Sky Touch Shaman is a kind of newer champion added to Raid a few months ago from the Barbarians and is a Void Epic. Now, I think I don't really hear people mentioning her very often in terms of being a good AoE cleanser, but she does have a very strong A2 for an arena context or any sort of cleansing capabilities, because it's going to remove all debuffs from all allies, then place Revive on Death, and block debuffs for 2 turns. If you book that to a 4-turn cooldown, that is a very strong A2 that can be super impactful in lots of different situations. And Scartorsis, a legendary from the Undead Hordes, also has this rebirth ability that removes all debuffs from all allies and then heals them and fills their turn meter based on how many debuffs were cleansed. And in my champion guide for Scartorsis, I spend a few minutes diving into exactly how this rebirth ability works by slowing it down, zooming in, showing the effects and how it affects the turn meter and all that stuff. But it is a very strong AoE cleanse. Raglan, a legendary from the Banner Lords, also has a cleanse right here on the A2 that is also going to heal, and Raglan is an amazing reviver, so going to be super strong in so many different areas of the game. And Mausoleum Mage, an epic from the Undead Hordes, fills a really cool niche in the game because he's going to remove all debuffs from all allies and heal them, and then he's also got an ability here where he places block debuffs and crit rate and increased defense, so he can work really well with defense teams, defense scaling champions like Tormund, for example, who's very good in the arena, is a defense champion. So Mausoleum Mage can cleanse and place block debuffs and a 60% increased defense, which is super impactful. And obviously, we cannot forget about the Force Affinity legendary from the Undead Hordes, Bad El Khazar. Now, he's obviously one of the best healers in the game, but he is also a cleanser. He's got remove all debuffs from all allies, so you could technically use him in an arena context, put him in an immunity set, give him high speed, he can absorb what they do, and then wipe the slate clean by cleansing all the debuffs as also being an S-tier healer. And last but not least, Hawkhorn Smashlord, who I used in the arena match as an example that I showed you earlier in the video. His ability here on the A2 is so strong in the arena in terms of being an immunity cleanser. He's going to remove all debuffs from all allies, then heal them, then place block debuffs for not 1 turn, but 2 turns. So this is basically exactly what you're looking for from an immunity cleanser. So that's going to do it for this video, going over all of the AoE debuff cleansers in the game. And remember, these can really help you out in performing well in the arena. If you are going to be going second, if you're going to be absorbing what the enemy team does to you, it is very important to know who these champions are, know what they're capable of, and how to use them. You're typically going to want them in high speed. The immunity set is very good on them, like I said earlier in the video. And if you have any questions, drop it down in the comments, and I'll do my best to get to them and help out as many of you as possible. And you can always stop by when I'm streaming and hang out and ask questions as well. I am live 7 days a week for about 2 or 3 hours, trying to get to as many questions as I can. So that's going to do it for this video. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.